There is one undeniable principle in basketball that separates winning cultures from organizations stuck in mediocrity. The principle is straightforward. The ball should find the highest quality opportunity, not satisfy one player's need to dominate possessions. Basketball is at its best when it becomes a coordinated dance of movement, spacing, passing, and trust among teammates. When all five players work together with a shared purpose, the game becomes something beautiful to watch. But what happens when one player disrupts that entire flow? What happens when a franchise brings in a once-in-a-generation playmaker, a rookie capable of reading defenses several steps ahead, only to pair her with a veteran guard who treats every possession as her own personal mission? Welcome back to WNBA Pro. Today, we are going beyond the statistics because numbers do not always tell the full story. The stat sheet may show Kelsey Mitchell scoring 20 points and contributing offensively, but the game footage reveals something far more concerning. Tape paints a completely different picture. Today, we are diving into the film and examining nearly 10 minutes of relentless, possession-stopping basketball that is crippling the Indiana Fever's offense and pushing Caitlin Clark to the sidelines of her own system. Anyone who has spent time playing organized basketball understands the concept of a black hole player. Once the ball reaches that player, the possession effectively ends. Ball movement disappears, cuts become pointless, screens lose their value, and the other four players already know they are unlikely to touch the ball again. That is the frustrating dynamic many fans believe is currently affecting the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark, a player who transformed college basketball through her elite passing vision and ability to elevate teammates, is too often reduced to standing off the ball while an isolation-heavy approach takes over the offense. Instead of debating theories, let's turn directly to the film because the evidence speaks for itself. Early in the game, Indiana is searching for offensive momentum. Fast break opportunities are crucial for a young and athletic roster. Every defensive stop should create a chance to attack before the defense gets set. Clark thrives in those moments, processing the floor with remarkable speed and finding opportunities most players never see. But pay close attention to what unfolds when Kelsey Mitchell chooses to finish a transition play herself rather than making the simple pass that could have produced a better result for the team.
Shit. Tired of watching Kelsey Mitchell jacking up shots, man. Pass the ball. Just running around shooting and shooting and shooting. Kelsey Mitchell, fast break layup, smokes the layup. You do all this shooting and your ass can't make a wide open fast break layup, messing up a Caitlin Clark assist. She'd had a double-double if you would have just made your damn layup. Like, what? Look at this. Kelsey Mitchell, she's gonna...
Take a look at how badly that possession falls apart. Kelsey Mitchell accelerates the break, which is exactly what you want, but the moment she gets downhill, her focus narrows completely. Pass never comes. Instead, she forces the finish and misses a wide-open layup in transition. Moments like that can have a major impact on a team's confidence and rhythm. Players fight for a defensive stop, sprint the floor, fill the proper lanes, and create an easy scoring opportunity, only to watch it disappear because the simple extra pass was ignored. Caitlin Clark was in perfect position. That play should have ended with an easy assist and 2 uncontested points, giving the Fever an early boost of momentum. Instead, the possession produces nothing. And as frustrating as a missed fast break layup can be, that is only scratching the surface of a much bigger issue. The deeper problem is what happens to the offense once the ball stops moving. In today's WNBA, the most effective offenses are built on constant movement, quick decisions, and forcing defenders to rotate from one side of the floor to the other. Teams create advantages through passing, closeouts, and attacking defenses before they can recover. None of that is possible when one player dominates the possession and pounds the ball into the floor. Every time Kelsey Mitchell takes control for extended stretches, the offense appears to lose its rhythm. Pace slows, the movement disappears, and the system grinds to a halt. Watch the next sequence carefully and count every second for yourself. Notice how long the ball remains in her hands while the rest of the Indiana Fever lineup is left standing around, watching the action unfold instead of actively participating in it.
On the clock when Kelsey has the ball. Look how much time she has on the clock. Look at this. Right there. It's 15 seconds. Let me show y'all this, man. She got the ball with 16 seconds on the clock. 16 seconds. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now Sophie just got to throw it up.
16 seconds remained on the shot clock when Kelsey Mitchell took possession of the ball. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. The seconds keep disappearing, yet nothing productive develops. There is no aggressive move toward the basket, no pick-and-roll action, no effort to find an open teammate cutting through the lane. Instead, the ball stays glued to her hands while the other 4 players on the floor become little more than spectators. When possessions unfold this way, it sends a frustrating message throughout the lineup. Tells teammates that their movement, spacing, and effort are ultimately meaningless because the ball is not coming their way. It even neutralizes one of Caitlin Clark's greatest strengths. As the top overall pick and one of the most dangerous perimeter threats in the league, her ability to stretch defenses should create opportunities for everyone. But that advantage disappears when she is ignored on the perimeter. By the time Mitchell finally decides to make a move, the shot clock is nearly exhausted, forcing Indiana into a rushed, difficult attempt with little chance of success. That is not the type of offense championship-caliber teams rely on. It looks more like an unstructured pickup game than a professional system designed to maximize talent. For a franchise trying to establish a culture of winning basketball, that is a serious concern. And if you believe this was just one unfortunate possession, the film suggests otherwise. As the game progressed, the isolation-heavy approach became even more noticeable. There is nothing wrong with high-volume scoring. The league's best scorers take plenty of shots. The difference is that elite offensive players usually work within the flow of the system. They use screens effectively, move without the ball, create separation, and take advantage of opportunities generated by team basketball. Mitchell often appears determined to create everything herself, regardless of what the defense is giving her. The next possession may be the clearest example yet of why that style can become so damaging to overall chemistry. Watch carefully because once again the clock starts ticking and the pattern repeats itself.
This is the thing. Look at how much she's dribbling, bro. It's like pass the rock, man. Kelsey, you got to pass the ball, bro. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 dribbles. 14 dribbles, bro. It's like, I get it. You made the layup. But why are you taking 14 dribbles to shoot?
14 dribbles on a single possession. 14. Yes, the ball eventually found the bottom of the net on that play, and yes, the layup counted on the scoreboard. But smart basketball is about more than whether one shot happens to go in. Over the course of a season, the process behind each possession matters far more than the outcome of a single play. If an offense consistently depends on a guard taking 14 dribbles to create a difficult, tightly contested finish at the rim, that offense is going to struggle against elite defenses. Teams like the Aces and the Liberty are simply too disciplined, too athletic, and too organized to allow that approach to succeed over time. It is not a formula that leads to sustainable winning basketball. While Mitchell is taking dribble after dribble, pay attention to the players around her. Look at Caitlin Clark. Look at Aaliyah Boston. Their involvement in the possession has completely disappeared. Why would they continue battling for position inside? Why would they spend valuable energy cutting through screens or fighting for space when experience has taught them that the ball is probably not coming their way? The entire possession begins to resemble a one-player operation, with everyone else reduced to standing by and hoping something positive happens. That is where team chemistry can start to erode. This unwillingness to move the ball also creates another major problem. Prevents a player from recognizing what the defense is actually giving them. High IQ basketball players constantly read matchups and react accordingly. If a dominant rim protector gets switched onto a smaller guard, the correct response is often to pull that defender away from the basket or quickly find the teammate left open by the rotation. Great offenses punish defensive adjustments. But when a player becomes locked into scoring and ignores everything else, those opportunities disappear. The focus shifts entirely toward reaching the rim regardless of what the defense is showing. And that brings us to the next possession. Watch closely as Mitchell attacks the heart of New York's defense, because what happens next perfectly illustrates the consequences of ignoring the matchup in front of you.
Clark's gonna pass the ball, gives it to Kelsey, or Monique Billings. Monique's Billings give it to Kelsey. She's gonna throw it up. Jonquel Jones is 6'8", Kelsey. Why are you just going in, throwing it up? Look at this. Jonquel Jones is 6'8", Kelsey. Pass the ball. Pass the ball. I'm sick of watching this, man. I'm sick of watching this girl. All you do is
pay attention to how the defense reacts on this possession. The rotation is already in place, and the help defender is exactly where she is supposed to be. Jonquel Jones is standing in the paint waiting for the drive. We are talking about a 6'6" former MVP and one of the most dominant interior defenders in the entire league. Any experienced floor general recognizes that situation instantly. The moment that defender commits to protecting the rim, the correct basketball play is to move the ball. Force the defense to collapse and capitalize on the advantage. That could mean finding Caitlin Clark for an open three on the perimeter or hitting a teammate cutting into the space the defense just abandoned. That is how great offenses punish defensive rotations. But instead of reading the floor, Mitchell lowers her head and attacks directly into traffic. When teammates are ignored, passing lanes go unused, and the possession ends with a difficult, heavily contested scoop attempt over one of the league's premier shot blockers. It is the type of decision that leaves coaches frustrated because the defense is practically telling the offense where the open player is located. Situational awareness is one of the most important skills in basketball, and on plays like this, that awareness seems to disappear. The issue extends far beyond a single missed opportunity. When a player consistently forces action into crowded areas, it damages the entire offensive structure. It lowers shot quality, disrupts rhythm, and creates unnecessary risks. Even worse, it often leads directly to turnovers and easy opportunities for the other team. Excessive dribbling invites defenders to swarm the ball. It encourages traps, double teams, and aggressive pressure. When those defenders converge and the ball still does not move, mistakes become almost inevitable. Possessions unravel, transition chances appear for the opposition, and momentum quickly swings in the other direction. And that brings us to what may be the clearest example yet of this isolation-heavy approach reaching its breaking point. Watch the next sequence carefully, because this is where the entire problem comes into full view.
There's no way Caitlin Clark can play with this girl, man. It just is what it is. It just is what it is, bro. Let's count how many dribbles she had before her turnover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 dribbles and a turnover. 13 dribbles and a turnover. The lady don't want to pass the ball to nobody, y'all. Nobody. 13 dribbles and a turnover.
13 dribbles, and the possession ends with a completely avoidable turnover. There was nothing extraordinary about the defensive play. The defenders simply stayed patient, allowed the possession to develop, and waited for Mitchell to dribble herself into trouble. What stands out most is her court awareness throughout the sequence. Elite guards constantly scan the floor, reading help defenders, identifying open teammates, and anticipating where the next advantage will appear. Here, her focus never seems to shift. Her eyes remain fixed on the ball and the basket while opportunities develop elsewhere on the floor. She appears unaware of where Caitlin Clark is positioned. She appears disconnected from what Aaliyah Boston is doing inside. The result is 13 dribbles, a wasted possession, and another transition opportunity handed directly to the New York Liberty. Some point, difficult questions have to be asked. When does the coaching staff decide that this style of play is hurting more than it is helping? When does Stephanie White step in and demand a greater commitment to ball movement and team execution? A guard who repeatedly dominates possessions without creating opportunities for teammates can become a major obstacle to offensive growth. Perhaps the most frustrating part is how the pattern continues regardless of the game situation. By the closing minutes, the result was already beyond doubt. The Liberty had control of the game, yet the approach never changed. The same rushed decisions, the same isolation possessions, and the same determination to create offense alone remained on display. Many observers might look at the situation and wonder whether individual scoring totals had become a bigger priority than team development. Sitting at 19 points, Mitchell appeared determined to reach another scoring milestone, while opportunities to involve teammates seemed secondary. There was little indication of an effort to run actions designed to build confidence for the rookie or create quality looks for others. Instead, the focus remained on adding one more basket to the stat line. To a casual viewer, a 20-point performance may look impressive in the box score. But basketball is about much more than raw numbers. That brings us to the final possession we are examining today. Watch carefully because this sequence perfectly captures the desperation of a player chasing statistics rather than making the play that best serves the team.
To get her 20, she's cool. She don't care about nothing else. At this point, she got 19 points. She's trying to pad her stats and get her 20. She's going to force a bucket right here. Game is over already. Look at this. I ain't passing this shit. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get my 20. That's Kelsey Mitchell for you. That is Kelsey Mitchell for you. That is what Caitlin Clark is stuck dealing with. That is what Caitlin Clark is stuck dealing with.
And there it is, the final sequence that sums up the entire night. The outcome has already been decided. The game is effectively over, yet the pursuit of individual numbers continues. One more forced attempt, one more unnecessary scoring opportunity, all to reach that round number milestone. The next morning, many fans will glance at the box score, notice that Kelsey Mitchell finished with 20 points, and immediately wonder how the Indiana Fever still ended up losing by a comfortable margin. Others will look at Caitlin Clark's stat line and question why she seemed so quiet offensively. The answer is found in the film. The issue is not simply about scoring totals, it is about how those numbers are accumulated and what they cost the team in the process. When an offense consistently revolves around one player hunting shots rather than creating advantages for the group, the entire structure begins to weaken. The Fever are facing a significant challenge because no franchise builds a championship foundation on stagnant possessions and limited ball movement. You cannot fully unlock a generational playmaker if the offense fails to reward her vision and creativity. Clark entered the league with a reputation for elevating everyone around her. Her greatest strength has never been scoring alone. It is her ability to read defenses, make the extra pass, and generate opportunities for teammates. But those strengths lose value when the offense becomes dominated by isolation basketball and one-player decision-making. The organization must take a serious look at the direction of its offensive philosophy. More accountability is needed. More movement is needed. More trust in the system is needed. Possessions cannot continue ending with endless dribbling and difficult shots while talented teammates watch from the perimeter. Veterans must set the standard, not operate outside of it. Clark has already shown the willingness to sacrifice individual numbers for the benefit of the team. Question is whether everyone around her is willing to make the same commitment. If Mitchell cannot adapt to a more team-oriented style, improve her decision-making, and consistently recognize open teammates, Indiana may eventually have to consider other options in the backcourt. 'Cause if watching 10 minutes of this film feels frustrating from the outside, imagine experiencing 40 minutes of it game after game. This is WNBA Pro. We do not stop at the final score, and we do not rely solely on statistics. We study the film, break down the details, and examine what is really happening on the court. If you are tired of surface-level analysis and want deeper conversations about the Indiana Fever and the WNBA, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts below. What should Indiana do moving forward? Can Kelsey Mitchell successfully adjust her approach, or is a major change needed in the Fever backcourt? Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next breakdown.